All right, so we have used CSS styles to change our background color and to basically add style to our H1 element, and we also added a Google font to our page. So let's see what is next in our structure outline here. So we've dealt with the body of the document as far as the background. We have added style to H1 and a Google font. Now let's go ahead and target H3. And note there's multiple H3s. So if I write a single, if I use the H3 as a selector, then all of the H3s are going to be affected. Okay, so let's go ahead and style our H3 elements. And I'm just going to take H1, copy, and then press return and paste. And then we'll change our H1 element to H3. So now H3 is our selector. And I'm going to go ahead and leave. Now it's not a good idea to leave styles in that you're not going to be using. So if I had no intention of ever using this font family, then instead of commenting it out, it really would be best to delete it in the big scheme of things. But I'm going to leave them in for right now. And the other is, instead of calling out, if I'm going to use this font on all of my elements, the entire document, the headlines, the subheads, the paragraph, then I probably would just place this font family on the body of the document, and then all the other elements would inherit that font family. But I'm just going to go about this redundantly right now, and then when we get into our other exercises, we'll begin to streamline our process a bit more. So why don't we change our font size, and maybe our subhead will be 24. And I don't want to use this same color. We'll go ahead and just have our subheads be black. So black would be #000000. All right. And I'll go ahead and leave my font weight at 700. So we'll just save. And then let's go ahead and refresh our page. And there, now we have our subheads. Okay. Now, there's something we haven't talked about. We're not going to go into a whole bunch of detail with it right now, but there's something called the CSS box model. And the CSS box model is the space around all of our elements. And some of our elements have a default amount of space. So you're probably noticing up here above the H1, this space, as well as the space below, that is a default, as is this space and this space. And the same would be true of our paragraph. So as an example, let's just go ahead after our color in H1, and we'll tab over, and we're going to deal with the margin. And we'll talk about the box model in more detail later on, but just know that many elements have a default amount of margin around them, and our headings are one of those elements. So let's just do margin 0, and if I do 0, then this is 0 on all four sides: top, right, bottom, and left. If we want to address each of the sides, we can do something like this. So the first, this is the top, this is the right side, this is the bottom, and then this is the left. And then let's go ahead and add a semicolon, and then I'm going to copy margin like so, and then paste this to the H3. Okay, and while we're here, let's just take H3 and copy, and then return and paste. And now let's change this H3 to our P tag. So now our P tag is our selector to connect to these rules. And let's go ahead and go with, let's just try 12 pixel type. And again, we're going to zero out all the margin. You're going to see what happens, and then we'll make an adjustment. Okay. So before I do that, though, well, matter of fact, I'm going to leave it like this, and then in another video, in the next video, we'll talk about a couple of concepts for changing our font presentation. So let's go ahead and just save for right now, and then when I refresh the page, take a look, just make a note of the space around all of our type. So go ahead, let's refresh, and you'll see that all of that default space has now been zeroed out because we've told the margin, which is a default, to in fact be 0. Okay?